What's up, YouTube? This is Vicente Gonzalez, back with another Start and Sit 'em. This should be at least or really close to your fantasy championship game. I hope you've made it. This is week 16, so I won't hold it any longer. Let's go ahead and go. At quarterback, I say start Case Keenum, Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson, Blake Bortles, and Tom Brady, and sit Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Ryan, and Nick Foles. Case Keenum is going against Green Bay Packers. They're depleted. They've lost all playoff contention. I think it's a good play, and plus Minnesota's hot. Matthew Stafford is going to continue being really well. He did good last week in Chicago, so I expect no less from him in Cincinnati. And then Blake Bortles, he's been really hot. He's thrown like a lot of touchdowns lately to Keelan Cole, and D.D. Westbrook's been up there too. So he's been good without his top receivers, and I think he's going to be without them again this week. And he's going against San Francisco. It's not the best defense. I think that's a good start. Sit Jared Goff, because the past 2 or 3 weeks he's not been what he was, and he's going against an okay Tennessee defense, so that's not a good play for me this week. I wouldn't bet my championship on it. And then Dak Prescott, same. He had a rough week last week. I don't expect him to do any better this week. And then Nick Foles. Okay, so he's a either or. I think he could do good, but at the same, I mean, it is Oakland, so if he does do good, it'll be now. But to say I want to put my fantasy championship on it, unless I have other options, if I do, then I'm going with those. But Nick Foles, I wouldn't trust him right away. At running back, I say start Kareem Hunt, Ezekiel Elliott, Jordan Howard, Alvin Kamara, Deion Lewis, and Kenyon Drake, and say Alfred Morris, Peyton Barber, Isaiah Crowell, Jamal Adams, and Lamar Miller. Kareem Hunt got his mojo back, and I expect him to keep it rolling with Miami. Ezekiel Elliott, the beast is back. Play him. And then Alvin Kamara, they're just matchup proof, and this week I would bet my fantasy championship on him. Sit Alfred Morris, because with Zeke back, Alfred's going to get close to no touches, very little. I wouldn't expect that to happen. Isaiah Crowell, he's just not. He did pretty good for a while, and now he's back down to earth. Not a good play. And then Lamar Miller, T.J. Yates doesn't get the ball to him very much, and Pittsburgh is a good D. Don't trust it. At wide receiver, I say start Alshon Jeffrey, Mike Evans, Adam Thielen, Marvin Jones, and Keelan Cole, and sit Denver wide receivers, Brandon Cooks, Packer receivers, Devin Funchess, and Josh Gordon. So Alshon Jeffrey with Nick Foles, it's a wonderful matchup. I think it's going to be really good for them, and that they did really good last week. I think it's going to continue this week against Oakland. And Mike Evans, he blew it up, which has been kind of inconsistent. He's been pretty bad this last couple of weeks, quite a while actually. But with Jameis Winston back and throwing like he's throwing, Mike Evans is a solid play. And Adam Thielen, don't be discouraged by last week's little not so good play. The only reason that happened is because they got so ahead so quickly. So I think he's going to come back this week. Don't play the Denver wide receivers with that quarterback play there. It's just so inconsistent. You know, I think if you played one this week, it would be Demaryius Thomas, but I don't trust any of them. And then no more Packers receivers. Aaron Rodgers is out. They're not in playoff contention. Devontae Adams might have a concussion. Might not play this week, so just no bueno. And then so Devin Funchess, this last week was the first week in a while he hasn't had a touchdown. Like, he's usually done really solidly, but with Greg Olsen there and Cam Newton just not the best thrower, I don't trust it, not for my fantasy championship. And Josh Gordon, same. He gets the volume, but he can probably be up and down. I wouldn't trust my fantasy championship with it. So if you have other options, go with them. If not, he's not the worst play in the world. At tight end, I say start Zach Ertz, Kyle Rudolph, Jimmy Graham, Greg Olsen, and Jack Doyle, and sit Austin Seferian-Jenkins, Austin Hooper. Cool, 2 names. Anyways, Jared Cook, Jason Witten, and Ricky Seals-Jones. Zach Ertz is back out of concussion protocol, so he's good to go. Kyle Rudolph, if he plays, he's a good matchup. That's Kyle Rudolph is an end zone target, so keep him going. And Jimmy Graham, okay, he's been pretty crappy lately, but this is Dallas. Both of these teams are going to be fighting for the playoffs. I think it's a good play. Sit Austin Seferian-Jenkins, I think I said him last week too, same reason. They can't play. The Jets are pretty much done. Sit Jared Cook. Now, he's been doing a little better lately. He's been getting more targets, but not my fantasy championship. I wouldn't do it with that. And then Jason Witten. He's a boomer bust for me this week. Dak Prescott had a bad week last week. I thought he was going to do much better than he did. So just keep in mind if you have to play him, but don't expect a whole lot. All right, let's go. At defense, I say start Baltimore Ravens, Jacksonville Jaguars, LA Rams, Minnesota Vikings, and the LA Chargers, and sit the Houston Texans, New York Jets, Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, and the Miami Dolphins. Again, these are all just matchup plays. Indianapolis isn't the best offensive team. You can keep them in. The Chargers are going to go against the offensiveless Jets now, and the Jaguars are going against Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco. The Houston Texans versus Pittsburgh. Because Houston Texans just not a good offensive team anymore. Now, an interesting I say sit is the Carolina Panthers. Now, you'll find other places say start the Carolina Panthers, but I think Jameis Winston's really hot right now, and he's going to move the ball a little bit. And if you have to start him, start him. I mean, I think it might still be a good play too, but otherwise, I wouldn't do it. In conclusion, the Green Bay Packers the Green Bay Packers wide receivers are just done because Aaron Rodgers is out. Also, keep in mind Rex Burkhead is out because of he got hurt. So Dion Lewis is going to get most of the touches with James White getting the receiving touches. So I think Dion Lewis is going to be a smart play. And then lastly, Zeke is back. I'm really excited about that. He's been training. Looks like he's been staying in good shape. So if you for somehow held on to him and made it this far, or picked him up because somebody dropped him, unleash the beast, man. He's going to do really good, I think. Just want a few notes. Sorry about the change of location this week. I left school for a little while to go home on vacation, so I have to film here. Also, again, I'm just going to remind everybody that after next week, because I know some fantasy playoffs run until week 17, so I will do a show next week. After next week, I'm going to take a small break and then hopefully transition the show into something else. So keep watching, okay? And that's it for this week. Have a Merry Christmas and good luck in your fantasy championships. See y'all later.